We'll start the transportation coordinating meeting.
Thank you. Would you like me to call the roll?
Yes, please.
Okay, thanks. Chris Maybe is excused. Jason McMillan.
Here.
Sarah is also excused. Pam Snyder, are you online? *6 Pam if you are online and you are present. I don't see anybody. Yeah, I don't see anybody. Marty Steven,
Present.
Patricia Steven,
Here.
Nick Trimner, Dixie Weedman.
Here.
Thank you. We have 5 present out of 8.
Alrighty. Public comment and communications. All right. Motion to approve the minutes from August 18th.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from August 18th.
I'll second it.
All right. Any further discussion? Minutes are approved. Okay. Committee membership, reappointing members. Let's see if I'm reading this right. Jason McMillan, his first term is expiring. Do we do them one at a time or each?
I believe you can do them all at once.
Okay.
Mhm.
A term is 2 years, correct?
3.
3 years? Okay. All right. Jason McMillan, Patricia Steven, Marty Steven. Motion to reappoint these members to the committee.
I make a motion that we approve the reappointment of all 3 members to the committee.
I'll second the motion to reappoint. Or are you seconding it? Okay, I didn't know I could second myself.
Yeah, typically not, no.
Okay. Jason's got it.
Yes, not.
Any further discussion?
The only caveat I would say is for Marty's position, I don't know when the officially happens at the transition at the city. If you do or do not win the election there, the city would have to recommend a different individual.
Yeah, I'm sure Charlie understands that.
Yeah, so it would be a short term if
Could be a very
Yeah.
short term,
if you don't win that election.
done tomorrow. I don't think, well, I don't know when they swear everybody
I was
in.
gonna say your organizational meeting wouldn't be tomorrow. I don't know
Yeah.
what's the city's rules.
Yeah, the 21st is when they
Okay,
require
so-
it, yeah.
Yeah, so you'll be on for 0 extra days because really it ends on the 30th of this month. And
Yeah.
So keep it there just in case.
Okay. Approval of all 3 reappointments. We have all in favor?
Aye.
All right. We do have 1 open seat, correct? Okay. Funding sources.
Oh, could I say one thing, Patty?
Yeah.
About the open seat, there was an email, and I put it in your packet, that Chris maybe did say a Susan Stanky would like to be recommended as the consumer advocate for the TCC board. So just, that is towards the back of your packet.
Somebody could make that recommendation.
I make a motion that we accept Susan Stanky to the TCC board as the consumer advocate.
I'll second it.
Right. Any further discussion? Okay, so approved.
Vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Approved. Let's see where we are here. All right, funding sources. Butternut and Fifield.
I can start. Pat can chime in if he has other things. So the first one is Butternut. I don't remember when we did this. It was November, maybe. It was back when the budgets were going happening, and it was during their budget day. So we didn't have any success at Butternut for this year's funding source. However, they were all very interested as a municipality to say, yes, we like this programs. They understand without their input or their funding help, the program may not be able to continue to reach out to that Butternut area because they're not paying for it. You know, Price County currently is, and the other couple municipalities. It's getting to a point where it's getting busy enough that we can keep the bus in that Park Falls area if, you know, we had to. But yeah, so Butternut was very interested in next year. I think they asked us to come back in June so that we were ahead of their budget discussion. So my plan is that June, July, maybe a little after that, going to one of their evening meetings and making the same request, just saying, and Pat was very helpful. You know, he brought a list of, here's your general ridership. It does get more than this, but here's some of your main riders. Here's what the use is. And they were all like, oh yeah, we want to make sure these citizens can continue to get around. And they saw that the positives of it. So it sounds like they're on board. We just got to get it a proper timing. The next one is Fifield. We went to 2 of their meetings or 1. You went to 1 and then I went to 1 together, I think, right? Yeah, so I think, oh, you went to 2, but either way, we went to Fifield. And it was during their budget hearing, and they amended their budget to include $1,500 for 2026 in their budget. We did receive that from them earlier this year, so that does help offset the county's portion. So how it kind of works is the county has a grant. It can only go so far. We've kind of hit the limits of that grant. We have asked Park Falls and Phillips, who have been participating for a long time. They both participate, I believe, at $12,500. So that goes a long way towards offsetting, making sure we continue the program with Fifield now participating $1,500. That helps. Hopefully Butternut puts some money forward. And then we may ask for a little bit more from the cities going forward, but it's not going to go up to 20,000. It's going to be an extra $500 or just to maintain. Because our biggest problem was we started the program, we asked for 10,000 and then we kept it at 10,000 for a long time. And instead of just going, it's an extra $200 this year or $250, and then just, they always know as a municipality that it's going to cost a little bit more, but it's covering the program that it is. So did you have anything, Pat? Any questions from anybody? It's a lot of positive feedback on why they want to participate and make sure they're part of the funding so that they can keep that service going outside those limits. So going a little further than the 5 miles.
Do you know when you'll know how much more you'll be asking for?
I don't know. We usually talk in the summer. So again, it's not going to be a ton. I'll take it to Scott and the mayor. Do you have anything with it?
Okay.
Pat's got something.
I don't anticipate much, if any, of an increase for next year. I've tried to plan everything to where we can keep it. It just depends on these gas prices. So.
All right. Any more? Route reports.
You have your graphs and the rider numbers for all the different routes. We're right in the middle of the mix with Park Falls. Riderships up there, 700-800 rides a month, which is really good for that bus. Phillips, we're running second to, we're just a little bit down over last year, but we're still running around 400 rides. I'd like to get in that 500-600 ride increase a little bit, but it's still providing quite a few rides. And then the Phillips Monaco one, it's Actually, I think it's gonna increase now because we have more people going to dialysis now than we used to, so I think they're putting 4 or 5 people in that bus 3 days a week now, so that's good. And that was one of the main reasons we started that, was to get people over to dialysis. And you know, that one isn't so much the amount of ridership, but the quality of what we're doing the rides for. And I think that's what's really good about that one. Other than that, I didn't really have anything on ridership. It's, like I said, it's looking good. We're happy with where it's at.
Okay. Yeah, we're always growing a little bit instead of, people are using the service, so that's
Yeah.
good.
It
Okay.
seems to jump up and down, you know, some of them more than others, but it just pops up and down. And like I said, we keep in the general vicinity of where we were previous years. I think we're good. Like I said, some days the Park Falls bus is so busy they have a hard time keeping up. But then there are days where they do have a little bit of time. So
Alrighty. Program reports, fares, and hours.
I don't think we need to change the fares at all, or the hours. I think we've been the same since I think we started at this price for fares. I don't think we've ever changed them, but I don't see a need to bump them either way.
Do you want to talk about the veterans rides and then the summer potential rides?
Veteran rides, they're still riding for free. We don't track them anymore. We only did it for the first year just to kind of get an idea of what kind of financial impact there was, and it wasn't very much. Price County does run more veterans than anywhere else in the system, so I think that you benefit the most from that. As far as summer, I think we'll get going with another kids ride free. I think that's worth doing to try and get the youth used to riding the bus, so later in life, if they go places, they may ride it, be comfortable with riding it, or other systems in other areas. Although I can't say that for my daughter, she won't ride it. So,
You know, is Park Falls, is the pool going to run this year? Because that's always been a big ride, the free ride one. And then one thing we should probably would talk to is the YMCA, if they're going to do summer programming and the ridership.
Yeah,
'Cause
the
that might be-
YMCA, I know they just released their summer programming for kids. I think within the last day or two. The pool is still up in the air because we're having problems getting lifeguards. So the last I knew, we only had 2 lifeguards, and I think they want to have up to 10. So they've been going to the schools trying to get interest. Last I heard, they didn't have enough. So we're still hoping the pool will be open, but I don't know
Okay,
yet.
so but either way, that YMCA program, that might be something we want to have somebody remind the YMCA that they could advertise, get the kids here.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, and they do teen nights. So that might be something to,
How late do them run?
yeah, I don't know how late.
Just we're done at 6.
Yeah, then you'll miss teen night then.
Yeah, we can reach out to the YMCA and let them know, and maybe they'll put it out in their bulletin for these kids that want to go to it, that they can always ride the bus.
Yep.
How is the cost of fuel affecting anything this past month?
Well, the budget was set for, I think the cap of price of gas was $3.60 in my budget, so we're over that down here. We haven't quite gone over that yet in Washburn, but depending on how long it stays at this higher rate, because we started out the year below that. You know, we'll see as the year goes on, what it does.
Do you have your own fuel tank at the facilities, or have you ever looked into doing that? Because I know sometimes they'll lock you in at a certain price if you.
I used to buy, I didn't have to store it. The co-op in Ashland would sell me, but it became you had to buy so many gallons, and it's beyond and you had only so long to use it.
Right.
It was quarterly, and we couldn't use that much fuel. We do have agreements down here. It's with Quick Trip to buy fuel at we get our fuel and they give us a discount. We also get the taxes off of it too. So I think with removing taxes, it's about 60 cents a gallon less. So that's where I'm budgeted at $3 a gallon. So it can go up to 360. And I'm still fine, but we do have agreements, and I don't know that it would be any cheaper to put in our own tanks with the expense of having them inspected and all that. You'd have to use a lot of fuel. I could probably do that. Yeah, I could
And
probably
speaking
do it in
from-
Ashland, but not down here.
We're currently getting rid of our tank at the bus garage, and it's just diesel, so it's a headache, to be honest,
Yeah.
to have a tank in the ground or above the ground
Yeah,
and
and
maintain it.
We
So,
looked at it as a county actually, because we have to update our system and just the inspections and the insurance and everything. We're getting to the point of update. And the only reason we're going to have to probably stay with our own is there's no place here that has a generator that would be able to maintain fuel when there's a major snowstorm or an outage. So we then have that stuff. So we're paying for the in case of emergency, but we've also looked at Quick Trip saying, cool, you're there 24/7, drive through, fill, and they didn't have enough pumps. So that was our other thing is we'll have 14 trucks going out or coming in and out at a time. There just wasn't enough. They needed to be bigger like Park Falls.
yeah, our bus fleet is all gone propane basically here down in Phillips. So
Yeah.
we have our own tank, and we have a contract with Medford
Yeah,
Co-op.
so the value isn't why you do it. It's some of the backups and the access and that kind of thing. But
Yeah. So, yeah.
they get you either way.
Any updates on the electric bus? Because I know the last time it was you weren't getting any responses.
Yeah, so we have stopped talking with the company that we were going to buy from. They don't want to speak to me, and I'm okay with that. We have gone in talks with 2 other companies, and we've had one presentation from one company, although their bus is a bit more expensive. I'm waiting for the presentation from the other company, but at this point, we're looking into 2 other companies. I'm working with the state on that and redistributing that grant to away from where it was originally planned. Of all the areas that we're doing it, Dunn County did stick with them and order their buses. They are now ready to be ordered. They ordered theirs, but they were kind of over a barrel because they put over $100,000 down on the buses, and the company wasn't really willing to refund that. So myself, Red Cliff Transit, Bad River Transit are all looking elsewhere to go away from that company. So we're just checking into it. The one issue that I want the companies to assure me is that in our cold winters that the vehicle will heat itself good enough. The transit van I have right now that's electric, I had people canceling their rides because it does not get warm enough in the wintertime. And I keep it in a 68-degree building. So it's leaving warm and it loses ground as the day goes on while it's outside. So it will not, the heater in it is not capable of maintaining, which is a We can't have people canceling rides because they don't want to ride in it because it's too cold.
Right.
So, and especially if they're wheelchairs, when you open all the doors to get a wheelchair in,
Yeah.
it just doesn't recover. And that's one of the persons that refuses to ride that in the wintertime. So, unfortunately, the bus, if I go with one company that we did a presentation, a lot of features of it, the heater's gonna maintain. There's a lot of features about it I like. One that it uses the entrance door as the wheelchair door. It's a low floor bus that there's a ramp there like the big city buses that flips out, so you're not open. You don't have that door open and your other door open to do a wheelchair. So it's quicker to get a wheelchair in and out. The driver doesn't even have to leave his seat. They can just open the door, flip the ramp out, and if it's a power chair, they just drive right in, and then he can close it back up. Downfall, instead of being 229,000, they're closer to 300,000 for a bus. So we're part of the reason is it is a low floor bus because they do make them in gas and everything else, but we've never bought them because the price of a low floor is a bit more to get that style. The other company we're waiting to hear from that's getting their presentation together it's a standard cutaway bus that's not a low floor. So the price should be lower on that. It's just, again, it's whether or not their heater is going to maintain. So
If you
That's-
choose either one of those, how far out are you looking? Do you know?
6 months once we place the order now.
Okay.
And right now, currently, the one thing I didn't say about the fuel was that we're buying about 1,700 gallons a month down here.
All right. Anything else from anyone? Just a question on that electric bus. So the fuel buses, we know they, $4 a gallon or whatever. The electric bus, do we know how much, what's the charge per hour or gallon? How do we compare?
By the kilowatt.
Oh,
It's by the kilowatt.
okay, how do we compare that to fuel?
Yeah, so like I can give an example. I have an all electric car personally. So like I charge at home. My charger on my wall has an app. My app says you used 26 kilowatts to charge up. I know I pay 13 cents a kilowatt. So I like on an average, I put about 1,000 miles on my vehicle. If I only charge at home, it's about $25. So I get about 120 miles to the $4 gallon, 100 miles, between 100 and 120.
Okay.
But there's a lot of, so there isn't a good way to compare because like, for example, when my heat's on, I'm using more electricity. So per mile, like there's a gauge. So if you drive an electric car, it'll say how much you're using per kilo or how many miles per kilowatt. In the winter, I average about 2 miles per kilowatt. In the summer, I can get close to 4 miles per kilowatt. There's multiple things, heating, cooling, which that just depends. Just cold weather. It's just cold. Anytime there's anything on a road service, that's friction. So if it's raining, snowing, dirt, whatever, that slows the rolling of the car down. So I lose kilowatts per hour or miles per kilowatt. Wind's probably the worst, and then speed. So for example, if I drive around town, I can get almost 5 kilowatts per mile. So like I can get home back and use like 1 kilowatt, which is 13 cents. I go on the freeway, and if I hit 70 miles an hour, that's when it dips down because I'm pushing wind, I'm pushing a car, I'm getting wind against me. So then I go down to that 2.5. I can average 2.5 is a good summer average on going 70, 75 miles an hour. So it doesn't compare like you'd think, where a combustion engine, once it gets up to speed, the transmission becomes very efficient. You're in a high gear, you get really good gas mileage. depending on what you're, so you get, that's where you get the highway miles, I get 35, but in town I get 19. Electric cars are the opposite. The slower they go, the more efficient they are. The faster they go, the least, less efficient they are. So per mile, there's not a good, or per gallon, it's not a good, you just have to look for a high efficiency car. Buses are going to be tough because you get a crosswind, you get a front wind, you get any type of wind on those, you're going to suck it. The heaters, like Pat said, it's going to be tough. Heat is an issue, not efficiency of moving. It's keeping it warm inside.
If and when we do get the electric bus, what route would you put that on?
It'd be down here in Phillips. That's why the charger's down here. So we would utilize it down here. So if they need to charge during the day, it is here for them to charge.
Okay.
And just one other thing about, so like personally, I have a charger at home, and most people who have electric cars, like my neighbor's got 2 of them. They charge a couple people in town. We don't use this charger. This is emergencies only. Like, oh, I forgot to charge before I need to go to Wausau. I could jump on this one for 10 minutes and I can get to Wausau. If I'm in Wausau, that's when you use the high, or the level 3, they're called level 3 chargers, rather than paying at home. The problem with level 3 chargers, they're super convenient and super quick. So like the bus, it's smart to have that. There's a different charging method, or price method, because we own it, or Bart would own it. But like when I go out of town, if I charge, the one in Wausau, I stop at Target. They have an Electrify America. I pay 56 cents a kilowatt instead of the 13 cents I pay at home. So it's like filling a regular car with gas. I find the fastest one. I pay a little extra. I'm there for 6 minutes. I can get my 90 to 100 miles I need to get home, which I probably wouldn't even needed to do, but range anxiety is a thing for people. Not so much me, but maybe my passengers, that they want to make sure we have 150 miles to leave to get home, and okay, we'll fill it up. We'll be there for a couple. So there's a different cost structure too, where you fill up. So, owning the thing, you're paying just the electrical rates, where if I go to this one, I pay 48, 43. I can't remember. 45.
I think.
So local for emergencies, for traveling public or the buses.
Actually, in all actuality, using this one here would not, in a sense, wouldn't cost me any money, because the money that this one collects, I get to use as local share, local match towards the grant, whereas the expense of it, the electric bill, it goes against my current expenses. So the local share that I get is, if it's used enough, is more than what it would cost me to use it.
So that's the advantage we're looking for, is really reducing the fuel costs. So you're paying more upfront for a bus,
Mhm.
but you're eliminating 1,700 gallons of a month of fuel. Still
Well, no,
paying.
that's all 3 buses, 1,700.
Oh, I thought that was just I was like, wow.
So
But
when the
either
bus,
way, you're
so in
reducing.
theory, when the bus needs to be charged, if there's a car sitting there, it's only going to be there for 20 minutes, say, charging, and then
And it can charge 2 at a time here.
oh, you can do
Yeah.
2. That was my next question.
Yeah.
2. Okay.
Unfortunately, your car tells you a lot more information than our vehicles. Our Ford Transit, it does not break it down to any of that, all the metrics that he can do.
You could get an app with a little a thing that goes in the car.
Oh, okay.
There's an app for everything.
Yeah.
Pretty
You
much.
pay for it's a third-party app. You get a little thing that goes in your computer, and you can read it out as it goes. And I like this stuff, so like I have it so I can see the temperature of my batteries to know I'm most efficient for charging.
We do know the Transit will go 20 miles after it hits 0. Because it was an Iron River and had 13 miles left to go, and it died in our driveway.
Okay, anything else? Going once, going twice? All right, meeting adjourned, or motion for meeting adjourned? Meeting adjourned.
You can adjourn. Yep.
All right, meeting
The
adjourned.
next meeting will be what, May 18th?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that's good.
Now you're calling meeting adjourned, right?